Go live. Uh-oh. Says the current bit stream lower than recommended. Let's just check to make sure. I want to check the settings here. Let me check my hopefully we can do okay with the stream that we've got. Hopefully it's catching up. You can see me okay. Can you hear me and see me? Let me know if you can. I can kind of see it on my screen, but it looks kind of choppy. So we'll see if it's okay. Let me see if I can hear sound. Yeah, there we go. I can hear it on my laptop. I got the chat pulled up on my laptop. I have not an ideal situation here, guys. What I got going on is I'm at Dad's computer, so I don't have my normal setup and my internet and everything like that. So I'm at the what do I say? I'm just hoping that this will work out. So, all right, guys. Well, glad you're here. Glad you're here. Let's see if everybody can hear me. Yeah, I can hear and see the screen. Can't see. Yeah. You're not going to see me. I don't have a video camera on myself. I might go back to doing that. I used to do that, Jay. So I might do that again. What's up, Alexandra Olivier? What's up? Waiting for the live Black Swan. Hey, Nick, how are you doing? Good to see you, man. Hope you're well. And Keith, as always, my man, it's a pleasure having you here, as always. Glad you're here. Between the Aisles, he's moderated. Do I need to make you the new moderator? Kimo Sabi's been busy. He's been so faithful through the years, though, and he shows up every live, so always glad to have Kimo as well. But busy dude right there, and kind of growing his own channel, so he's got better things to do. What's up, D Crypto? Jim in the house? Jim is in the house. I am here. So, all right, guys. Well, we're going to jump into the analysis. I've said hi to everybody. Said hi to me, and I'm sure other guys are going to jump in. If you're jumping in, let me know you're here. I'd love to say hi to you as well. And I know some of you just look forward to Sunday night charts every week, which blows my mind. It just, it gives me just a warm feeling inside that somebody's interested in what I'm doing. So, hey, that's always fun, but it always also blows my mind that anybody's even interested in what I'm doing. So, I'm just going to give you some thoughts. I'm going to do the very best I can applying Elliott wave theory to the charts, and I'll do my best for you guys. But don't forget, I'm not a financial advisor, and I'm not here to give you financial advice. I'm just a guy on Sunday nights looking at charts with a bunch of other guys in the world, and we're trying to figure out the crypto market, sharing what I'm thinking, and if it lines up with what you're doing, fantastic. But if it doesn't line up with the way you're thinking about it, it's really all right. We can have a different opinion, but sometimes hearing somebody else's opinion allows you just to kind of process some thoughts that maybe you didn't have prior. So don't forget, I'm not here to give you financial advice, but let's have some fun looking at the charts. Okay? All right, let's jump into the analysis here, guys. Let me remind you where we are. Looks like the screen is pretty good here. Let me get that and make it a little bit bigger here. Looking good. All right, so let's. Excellent. I'm watching my live stream live back, and it's about 10 seconds behind, so it's looking good. All right, so with that said, is the mic okay? I've got a headset. It's a Logitech $20 headset, guys. Is the mic okay? I know it's a different sound than normal, but is it acceptable? Can you handle it? Is it all right? Let me know. All right, let me remind you where the macro chart is. Okay, so the China mic sounds great. Hold on. That tickled me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. Hey, listen. I know mics, and this is a great mic. This is the best mic there ever is. There's no greater mics than the mic that I've got right now. So, all right, let's look at the chart. All right, how are we looking at this wave? Okay, if you're an Elliott waiver and you're kind of tempted to look at this thing as finished, right? You're saying this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, actually, I don't put 5 there. I put 5 here. Okay, and you say, okay, well, what's this wave if this is 5 at this point? Well, the way I'm looking at it is that we have a potential flat rocking. I don't love the shape of it personally, but I don't hate it either. It's kind of like, it is what it is. So I'm kind of looking for a downward wave that takes, oh, I don't know, the next 6 months to a year to develop. That's going to just take us down to a crypto abyss here, okay? Down, 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 down into 2026, a fast one, and that should get us down to 40K or so, if that's correct. Okay, so what would that be? What am I saying? Well, I'm saying that this is a flat. Okay, so this is my main macro idea. Now, it may be incorrect. This interpretation of these waves may be incorrect. So that's one thing about Elliott. Looking forward, interpreting what's ahead of us is harder than looking backward and saying, oh, yeah, that's what we got. So what we're trying to do is take what we know of Elliott of wave structure and project it forward in time and saying, okay, this might be what we're getting. So we might have a C wave coming. That would take 5 waves to get down. Okay, so we would expect 5 waves. So from the top of this wave to wherever it would go, usually a 1618 extension. Okay, so if I pull the extension on this guy, boom, boom, boom. We usually look for the 1618 to even the 2618 extension. So at 42K, guys, that's not a bad extension for a 3-wave move off the top. Now, what that could be and what that might be is the W wave or the A wave of a much larger correction. In other words, this could be a W followed by another 3 waves back up, or which could come just moderately high back to 100K and find some resistance, or 93K is what I got there, and then back down for the 3rd wave. That would be way too much. That would take us to 0, guys, or negative. So that's not correct. But some kind of move like a so, like that, maybe back down to 30K or something like that, in a 3-wave move, which would find a bottom here, and you play it, we'd find, and then roll our way back to the upside, the way crypto likes to do. Remember, what does crypto like to do? It likes to come down in 3 waves, and it usually comes all the way back down to support levels. Okay, real support levels, and then it likes to make this U bottom and then start working its way back up. That's the way the crypto charts generally go. So this view is the long-term macro bullish view that says, hey, this was an initial wave to the upside. Now we need a long-term bear market, okay, correction of this initial, what I'm calling a leading diagonal, a bear market 3-wave thing that should take the next 4 or 5 years, but then beginning to find some rally towards the end of the decade and the beginning of next decade, and then the 30s ought to be roaring for crypto. Okay, more than likely. So that's one macro viewpoint, one way to interpret this macro structure. And so we would basically say, okay, if that's a macro idea, then we look at the current wave system. I'm going to just move the volume out of there so we can see here. So we look at this current wave system and say, okay, what's happening right now, and how does that fit in that system? And where we are then, this is the weekly chart, by the way, is we are currently in the first wave that I don't even think is finished. Okay, I even this move up that we've had in the last week, we had a week that just closed green, right? I don't know that is the beginning of the correction. I think there's a good chance that we get another bearish week here. I think there's a good chance we come down to the 102 to 100K range, find some support there, or maybe even a little bit lower than that if this wants to get down a little faster and more dirty. I think there's a chance we just come down from where we are in this range, and then we come down to about 100 to 102 range. Then I would like to see some kind of correction to the upside, back up near 110 to 115, um, and after that we would, of course, again, all that price action that I've just drawn, just to give you a sense, even though there's small squiggles on my screen, we're talking months of price action there. That takes us into November, December, just the way I've drawn it. If it happens the way I drew it, now who knows if it's going to happen the way I drew it? But I guess the point here is just to give you a framework of how long things take. I could see us dumping and then correcting back to the upside. And this secondary wave is the wave that's going to take all kinds of time. That's going to be the tricky wave before we get the move back, the third wave back to the upside to finally take us down. So that could take us the next 2 to 3 months to play out what I just drew, just to here. And it might be towards January before we dump again. Okay, so yeah, Camel. Others who aren't Elliott waivers would call that a head and shoulders, right? Um, it, it certainly could be. So guys, in Elliott wave theory, a head and shoulders basically is you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and when the 5 waves is done, then you got A, B, C, A, B, C, and there's your head and shoulders. Okay, boom, boom, boom. That's what a head and shoulders is. Just so if you guys are wondering, if you guys are like, chart, if you guys would rather talk about chart patterns than wave counts, I much prefer talking about wave counts and wave structures. But if you like the head and shoulders pattern, that fantastic. So that's a good point that you bring up, buddy. And it could certainly take the high, but it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to. In fact, we have a count that says, hey, it could be all finished. In fact, taking this high right here was a bit of a surprise. It took it, rejected, and took it again. So I think, and then it took it again right up in here. So I don't know that it has to take it another time. It's already taken it 3 or 4 times. Okay, let's count the number of times the high's been taken. Okay. So I think they keep taking the high. So I think there's a point at which it won't get taken. They took it right here. There's 1. They took it right here. There's 2. They took it right here. There's 3. And they took it right here. There's 4 times. 4 times the high's been taken. And I think everybody's looking for the next high to get taken, right? Except it's going to go up real big this time. I think that's what people are looking for. Where this thing could just drop instead and then pull back. And what that could be, guys, if it drops quick here, this could be part of a flat and then it rebounds quickly. So if it happens fast like that, then I'd be looking for more down a lot faster. Okay, a lot sooner than I've already talked about. Okay, so that's another possibility as well. Looking at the daily chart here, just looking at my main macro idea here, is that this again right here was a wave 5 high. Okay, so you had this was A, there's B, and this is C to here. Okay, that's C to the end. All right, so there's A, B, C there. Okay, this is A, B, and C to there. Okay, it came right to the expanded pocket. I talked about the expanded pocket last couple of weeks. Okay, we're right in the expanded pocket, right at the 1414 extension. So that's perfect for an expanded flat. If that is an expanded flat, it would fit nicely here. Okay. Sorry, I'm getting my trading screen up here quick on my laptop here, just so I'm ready for any moves, because of course we've been an hour after close. So yeah, that's an expanded. So it's a nice possibility here for an A, B, and a C wave. And the way I'd count that last wave is you got the 1, 2 right here. It's a real shallow 1, 2. We're going to call this 3. That's 4, and then we're going to call that 5. Okay, and what you'll notice here is that this is wave 4 of the 5th wave, and this was an ending diag, or 5 waves to take the last high. Okay, so that's the way I'm count. That's my primary count which means that this current wave that we're looking for right here is an impulse off the top. And the question is it finished? Is that done? Or is there more? Is there more to come? Is there more downside to come? So that's the big question mark tonight. Is there more downside to come? So in other words, what I can see here is that we could go down, take the low again, take that low, right? Or this could work its way up, or some other complex thing. So we're going to talk about what could happen here on the 4-hour time frame, about what wave structure it could be. But I believe that this could be finished. It might have finished something right here, and this might be the beginning stages of something larger to the upside, and we'll talk about what that could be. But I think it's possible this right here could be an A, a B, and a C, and this becomes some kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 diag of an ABC, which means that we've impulsed, and now we're making 3 waves to the upside. We're ready to either go up one more time and hit this high, we're ready to roll over and come on down. And this was a wave 4 of this move down. So this was a wave 4 of sorts. So what does that make this right here? Well, it could be a wave 4 of the third. Okay, in other words, you got the 1, 2 up here in the wick. This was all 3 to here. That means that this was the wave 4 of the third. Okay, and this was a big macro 4, and then we're getting the 5th wave now. That's one count that's possible, but another count that's similar. But we could say that this was the wave 4 right there. This was wave 5. And what you've got here is a flat indeed. It's a flat regardless. So either count, they're both flats. But now what we're working on is something more complex. Some other complex something that's probably going to form a flat and fake us out. It's going to fake us out in ways. It's going to make you think it's going down. Then it's going to go hit the high and then come down. Much like this move right there, much like this move right there, where it formed this wave and then came down, hit the low, and then boom, hit the high again, right? Except this time, I don't think that high is going to get taken out. I just think this local area is going to get taken. So, I personally think there's a high probability that this was the top, this was the high. And that we are now currently in a wave 1 of sorts. Whether it's finished or not, that's the big question I don't have the answer to. Because there's a way in which you can look at that and say, yeah, that could be a finish, but I don't have a really nice count for this, say it's finished. I'm kind of more inclined that this low, at least this low, is going to get taken. I'm inclined to it. It doesn't have to, but I think I'm inclined to it. Where this low comes to get taken and then we go back up. Now, more than likely, it won't happen that simple. But I think this low could get taken, and it depends on how it gets taken. Does it take it in 5, or does it take it in 3 waves? Okay, and that's a big difference, because if it takes it in 5 waves, it's one count, and if it takes it in 3 waves, it's a different count. Okay, so maybe we need to spend a little bit of time talking about those different counts. Okay, so how we doing? How we doing on the macro? You guys understanding what I'm laying down, my macro concept here? Now, I'm offering to you, now I could offer a million other ideas, I suppose, right? But what I'm doing is I'm offering my primary, where I land personally. When I look at all the ideas, this is where I come down on. This is kind of what I look at and why I'm looking at it. The reason I've been bearish up to this point, number one, we're at macro resistance. We had a major round number 100 is major resistance. Now we have taken that number out and went up to 120, right? But I think there's a good chance that that was just just stopping the shorts who are short for this move there, because it looked too clean as a 5-wave move. That looked very much like a 5. I think they had to do a throw over before they come down. You say, Jim, what's a throw over? Well, it's exactly what they just did. Okay. Basically, they came, hit this trend line, bounced off it, and then went and took it out. They threw over the price over that line, and now I think it's basically just a throw over. Is a basically it's a fake out. It's a fake breakout, and then they come back in. So I think a throw over is very that plays likely. So let me just take a quick drink, wet my whistle here, and see how you guys are doing in the chat. Check the chat here. Okay. You guys are quiet in the chat, so you must be listening with intent. How many people are watching, guys? 26 of you watching, I guess. Hey, glad you're here. Thank you. Oh, 28 of you now. Okay. Awesome. All right. So going back to Bitcoin, I'm just basically showing you guys my primary count. Now, what are some other counts? How else can you look at this wave? I think there are some people that want to look at this wave and say this is 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. But wave 5 finished right here, and that's your wave 1, and that this was wave 2. Okay, so I think there are people that are looking at that wave right there and saying yes, that's wave 1 and 2, and what we're in now is the big wave 3. I don't gravitate to that wave count, and the reason I don't gravitate to that wave count primarily is because of the interior count of the third wave. Okay, so the reason why I don't like that count, and I know a lot of you do like that count, and that's fine, but I'm going to tell you why I don't like it. Because when you start counting the third wave, okay, so the first wave, it is what it is, 1, and then we have 2, and I think it's clear right here. I think wave 2, it's clear right here. Okay, then you have a 1, 2 right there. Okay, so that's 1, that's the macro. 2, we're looking for wave 3. If you say that this was the top of wave 3, and this is 4, and this is 5, then I need 5 waves in wave 3. Okay, so if you try to do the analysis of that wave, you say, okay, I'm looking for some proportionality. I'm looking for proportionality, and I'm looking, in other words, I want to see, you got to count 1, 2, okay. Where's your 3, 4, 5? You got to say 3, 4, 5. That's what you got to do. The problem is I just don't have a clear shape, a wave shape that has any proportionality. I would much rather say this was 4 and this was 5 of the third wave. And so for me, wrong or right, my preference is, now I could be wrong on this, but my preference is to put 3 here, not here. Okay, so this is an internal wave count of wave 3, and there's 5 waves. This is wave 4, and this was wave 5. So I count this entire structure as a leading expanding diag. So the entire structure is a diag for me, not a finished 1, 2. But I respect those of you that think that this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that's wave 2, and now we're in wave 3. I respect that. Okay. If I want to tease that out a little bit, then what I'd probably expect is that we could be in a macro pullback back down to support, hit the top of this breakout range right in here, 50K. I love that 50K range. I really, really do. And this could be a 1, 2, 1, 2. That would give us a couple of years of a bear market, but not as big as I've drawn before. Okay, and not as scary, because the price would stay between 80 and 100K a lot longer before you get the final dump down to 50K, 40K range. But if that happened, then we'd be looking for a major bull run after that. So that's another count that I can say, okay, maybe. But what do you notice overlaps on both of the counts that I've offered? Both of the counts that I've offered at least respect the bearish divergence we see in the charts. We've got triple bearish divergence here. It's big time there, okay, on the weekly chart. Okay. We also have a break of structure on the weekly right there. All right. So there's a lot of bearishness on this chart saying, hey, we could be topping or finding a top. And it might have already topped. Especially if this wave comes down a little bit further, resetting the RSI on the weekly, that would give us a three-wave pullback and time for the weekly to reset for another move to the downside later, where we get that other move down to 50K range. But I really feel like for a healthy chart, we need a pullback to 50K, and that would give us enough of a base to really start going up and getting high up into the big numbers as a lot of you are looking for. If we got a pullback to 50K, I think that would set us up for a much stronger chart to get us even higher than 200K, which a lot of you are looking at, or 100. I know some of you are looking at 150K, 175 to 200K. I think if we got the pullback to 50K first, it would get us a lot. We would blow past 200K easily and quickly. And that would also correlate with the speed at which the world is moving to digital currencies. All right. All right, so those are my thoughts on the macro. Those are my main two counts. I don't gravitate to that second count, but nevertheless, I'll offer it to you as a potential idea. Okay, but both of those counts have us coming down from where we are, respecting the triple divergence that we see on the chart, on the weekly chart, on the 3-day chart. Okay, respecting that divergence and respecting the wave structure that we're seeing on the small time frame that tells us, hey, there's a good chance we're going down a little further. Okay. All right, so that's the macro analysis, and I always take the first little while of the live stream to do the macro analysis because I want to always give us a context that we can now step and look inward at the chart on the smaller time frame, and that'll help us with a framework to understand what the waves structures that we're seeing. It'll allow us to fit it within the grander puzzle of the Bitcoin chart. So now we're going to zoom in and look at the 4-hour chart to the 1-hour chart and do a little bit of analysis on that time frame and see if we can guess where price might be going this week based on the wave structure that we got over the weekend and last week. All right, so let me take another quick drink. I might go to the refrigerator and grab another drink because I'm thirsty, and man, I do a lot of talking. When I talk for 30 minutes without stopping, it's hard. So give me 1 second, guys. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. All right, so how are we doing on the macro? Which idea did you like the best? Do you think we finished 5 and we're in the third wave, or do you think this is the end of 5 and we're now getting a correction off the end of 5? Which one do you like? I personally see this as 5 waves, but that may be too pretty, and you guys who think it's going up may be right, but I don't think the other high is coming. I think this is designed to look like another high is coming, but I really, Mr. Camel, I'm feeling fairly decent that we hit a high, but we'll see. So I really like. Now I'm on the 4-hour chart now, guys, and I really like to see this move down. Okay, something like that. Now, if that happens, okay, what is it? Now, first off, I do recognize that locally we could go hit the high. Okay. And that would be just fine. That would be kind of a fifth wave. This would be kind of a flat, okay, So going up to hit that high, I think that's super likely and super possible before we get a downward move like that. Now, if that happens, what do we got? What do we got? Well, either way, whether it comes down now or it goes up and hits the high and then comes down, I think that could be a B wave or a 2 wave of the next move, whether it's 3 waves to the downside and then back up, okay, or it comes down in 5 waves and gets down to this area of support. So this is the area of real support on the chart. That's the next area of real support. We have another area of real support right here, right in here. So these are our 2 zones we'd be watching. Okay, those are 2 zones that that would be important to me to pay attention to. One, you say, Jim, how do you come up with those zones? Well, if you look at the bottoms here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all these little hits to this zone, this area, okay, which is right around $100 to $103,000. Right in that zone, you'll notice that zone carries over, and you'll see peaks right over here. You'll see that these are key zones back here as well, right? See that? So you'll notice that, and the top of the moving average here on the 4-hour was also right in that zone. So we know that this is a key area of support, but a lesser area of support would be right here, where if we carry over all the way to the left, you'll notice that we have some peaks in here, right? We got lots of activity, lots of resistance here that has now become support for this zone. So this is an area of support, but it's weaker. One of the principles that I operate on, guys, is that the troughs of waves are much stronger support than the peaks of waves. What do I mean? As price is going up and then it pulls back and creates a trough, okay, and it goes up and makes a higher high, okay. The top of the peak is an area of support, but the trough of that pullback is an area of support as well, and this is stronger than that. Okay, why is that? Because this is an area where price stopped and bounced off. Okay, this is simply an area that price blew through until it creates a trough at that area and then makes another high. That area doesn't become better support until that trough is created, because this could come right on back down. Okay, so that zone is viable, something we should pay attention to, but until that trough is created, that trough is stronger than the peak. Okay, so price hits that peak, well, it could easily just come right on back down. Okay, so then we look at the troughs in the area of previous support. Okay, so that's the way I personally look at support and resistance, and how I measure the effectiveness of one area over the other. So as I just look at this chart on the 4-hour and I try to say, hey, what's support and resistance here? I'm looking at the troughs here, okay, where price came down and rejected, okay, or found support and moved up. Okay, those are areas of real support. If that gives way, if 100K gives way, okay, I don't think it's going to. I think it's going to find some support here and come on up. Okay, retest this zone, and then come down after. Okay, but if that area gives way, or if and when that area gives way, we're going to be looking at the next trough. Okay, what's the next trough? Well, zoom out just a little bit, and what you'll notice is that the top of this wave right here and the bottom of this wave right here is the next area of interest. What's that area? That's $76,000. Okay, now it's a zone. Okay, because it's never a perfect price. Okay, so we're gonna say 73,000 to 78,000. That range is the next area of interest. After that, just looking on the macro, where's the next area of interest? Again, you just go to the next trough. Okay, you got peaks over here, and we look there, and you'll notice that those peaks correlate, okay, with around 69 to 70K. So those right in there, same kind of area there, right? So we really, the real area that I'd be watching is the next area. You got the tops of these waves right in here. So that's the next area, that's my 50K range. That's an area of interest for me. And it's a strong area. And as we just zoom out just a little bit more, we're really, I mean, like majorly interested in the zone of 20K. That is some of the strongest. It's not the strongest on the chart, but it's some of the strongest. The strongest area of support on the chart, the strongest area is $3,000 to $6,000. That's the strongest area. So that's how I see, if price comes down, that's how I see areas of interest that I'm concerned with. So that's how I would, track the wave and pay attention to potential areas of interest for longs. When I do that, then I start thinking about Elliott wave. How might this wave come down and interact with those levels of areas? Well, I can see very much. If this is a wave 1 to right here, notice where it bounced. It bounced near these troughs and these peaks, right? That's where it bounced. This could come down, take that low out, and come down to the next area that I've got marked, which is about 100K to 102K range, right? And then bounce straight off it and come back, take the liquidity out of both of those areas. And what that would be to me would be a flat wave 2. And that would be a 1, and that would be a 2, looking for another move down. Now, it wouldn't go straight down like I drew. It would come down, find some area, bounce maybe, okay, come down, bounce, okay, and it would start working its way down. But that would be a 1, 2, and we would be in the wave 3. So if we zoom out just a little bit and we start to say, okay, well, what could that wave look like then as it interacts with these lines? Well, you got a wave 1, you got a wave 2. I've got that drawn. Okay, there's your wave 3. Get a big wave 4, and then maybe let me draw that differently. Maybe 4, maybe wave 3, or 3 ends here, takes this level out, comes back up. Okay, and then boom for another hit in the wave 5. So that's 3, 4, 5, and there's 5 waves. Boom. Okay, what would that be? That 5 waves, if it comes down in 5, okay, could be an A, B, C. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen or not. It's just simply an idea. What it is, it's taking Elliott wave structure and offering a model by which price might come down in ways that we might expect it should come down. Now, it's not going to look exactly like I drew it. I'm just drawing 5 waves and wave structure that we often see. And it's interacting with each of those levels that I've got drawn. Does that make sense? Hope that makes sense to you guys. And there's 32 of you watching. If some of you might hit that like button, that would be sweet. That would be real nice for the algorithm. That would just let YouTube know you're enjoying what you're seeing, and you're interested, and you want other people to know about it. So thanks for hitting like if you don't mind. That'd be awesome. It really does help. It really does. And if you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe. Let's YouTube know you like the channel. Okay. All right, so that's one idea. So on the macro here, on the micro here, on the 4-hour chart, then the way I'm looking at this wave is that I think this could come and hit the high. Okay, so very small time frame idea here. Man, I hate to get rid of my stupid lines. I'm trying to find. I got rid of all my levels, guys. Sorry, I had to do it. So I think this could totally come up here first. That might be what we're in for tonight, into tomorrow, but it doesn't have to. But I think that could happen. And then we get a rejection, and you can kind of see this as a flat right in there. We'll look at that on the smaller time frame in just a minute. And this would come down. Now again, that's either going to be 3 waves, A, B, C, or it's going to continue on in 5. Either way, we'll probably get a bounce here of some kind. Who knows the shape it gets, but it comes down in 5 waves. So if it comes down in 5, then I think it's finishing this first move. It's finishing it, and then we're expecting 3 waves back to the upside. If this first move's already done, I know I'm repeating myself, but I think it's important just to highlight, because I go over so much. I'm just trying to consolidate the information here. Excuse me. If it's already finished, it finished here. This could be part of an A wave. This could be part of a B wave. We could get a C. Or this could take the low, and then we get the C. And this could come even deeper, and we get a C. And Bitcoin does that a lot. Okay, it does it a lot. Where has it done that? Right here. You see that? See how that low got taken? That's part of a flat. Okay, so you got 3 there, 3 there, and then you had 3 there, and that was a W, X, Y correction, and then boom, back to the upside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, something like that for the 5th wave. So I am personally looking for a sell-off and this low to get taken one of 2 ways, 5 waves or 3 waves. And that's what we got to pay attention to. That's what we got to watch. Is this going to get taken out in 3 or 2? Let's now zoom in a little bit closer, and we're going to look at the 1-hour chart and say, okay, what's happening on the 1 hour? So I look at this wave and I think, okay, there's 3 right there, right? Okay, then we got 3 right there. And we might have another 3 right there, and that becomes a W, X, Y. Not a huge fan of that count, but it's a potential. Or this was A, B, and then we had C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's some kind of diag. And that's an ABC. A, B, C. Okay. That's hard wave structure. It's crappy. It's trashy. But this low took that out. So I look at this as a potential flat right in here. This was a flat to me, right there. But then we had 3 down, 3 up, 3 down. Unless this was 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's A, B, C. And that's a potential. That's an idea. Let's look at that. We say A, B, and then 1, 2, 3. How do I do that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Connector. A, B, C. What if we get that? What if we pump from here and we do that? I wouldn't like that, but that could be WXY. W, X, Y. Now, that might be an A wave. Then we get a B wave, followed by a C. And that takes time to develop. Yeah, see, there's all kinds of shenanigans that could happen here. I don't think it's going to be cut and dry here, guys. I really don't. I think they're going to use this area for liquidity. See that zone right there, that high there, and that high right there? I think that's where the liquidity is going to be taken. So in other words, they're going to work price down here, trapping shorts, and then take them out, trapping longs, and both of them get taken out. somehow. I think that's a real possibility there. So that's where we are, kind of guys. That's kind of where we are. I think this area right here, because this looks very much like a reversal, right? Because look, we broken the structure, we broken that to the upside. But a lot of times, the first time they break structure like that, it's not the real break, and they take it down. So I'm very aware of a possible dump here in this zone. Very aware of that possibility here. It doesn't have to go down forever, but I'm very on guard for something like that and then like that. If you want an idea, it'd be a larger version of this. See how they went up in 3 and then they went down, and then boom, took you out, and then came and took you out. So it took out that level like it's a reversal, and then took the bottom out. And I just think they're going to do it on a larger scale. They're going to take this major bottom out, take this major top out. That's the way the crypto market likes to play. How you guys doing? Enjoying the live stream? Let's see how you guys are doing. 33 of you watching. 17 people like the video. Nice. All right, Camel is guys. Sorry I've missed some of your comments. Let's see. Camel's just super active here. Let's see what he's saying here. Where should I start? That high looks 3-wave ABC. Doing C now, maybe. I see the high as 4 waves. I mean 5 waves. I know what you're saying. Looks like ABC, right? But I think that's the way it's designed to look. I'm much more count this like this. This is a flat in the middle. Boom. A, B, C. That's done. This was 5 right there. And so that's A, B, C. And so that was wave 4. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's finished. This is the beginning stages of something down. So, but I totally see why you would say that this would be A, B, C, or A, B, C. I can see that, Camel. So that's valid. I don't gravitate to that count, but yeah, fair enough. Dan Pov, you want me to look at Doge? Sure, I'm looking. Hey, Nani. Great job, Jimmy. I love it. Hey, Nani. Imagine all the buy orders at 50K or even 30K right now. Yes, absolutely. V-shaped recovery from there. Okay. All right, so that's the macro and the micro analysis here, guys. Now, what are we left to look at? Well, let's look at correlation. In other words, we're going to look at other charts now and say, what are the other charts kind of looking like? What are they? Is there a particular direction the other charts are pointing to? And does that give us any clue as to what Bitcoin might do? Because generally crypto all moves in the same direction. So when we do some correlational analysis, so we do macro analysis, we do micro analysis, and then we do correlational analysis. So what that correlational analysis will do is give us maybe a bias. And it's like, yeah, all the charts look like they're going one direction. They're all looking like they need to make this kind of wave. And it kind of just sets you up for a directional bias. So let's do some correlational analysis here. Let's look at Ethereum. Let's look at XRP. I'll look at CRV since I have it pulled up. Would love to look at the traditional markets as well as gold, silver, NASDAQ, and S&P. So we'll just peruse the charts. I try to do this portion of the analysis quicker. I usually take an hour. to do all the analysis I just did, and yeah, it's 9:53 right now, so we're right on schedule for the live stream. Now we're gonna just spend the rest of the time, next 30 minutes, 45 minutes, just kind of zooming through the charts, just kind of looking as quickly as possible, as many charts as we can, and just say, okay, is there something jumping out at me that the wave structure is kind of pointing to? What does it look like? And just apply our sense of Elliott wave and our intuition as far as wave counts and what direction those charts might be going, what wave structure might be being formed, and then we can kind of get a sense for which way we want to trade this market. Okay, so that's kind of what we're going to do next. Crypto Brandon, what's up, buddy? Just got back from a 4-hour motorcycle trip. All right, nice. All right, so let's look at Ethereum. We're just in time for XRP and Ethereum analysis. We're going to start with XRP and Keith, of course. Link. I will get to Link right after I do XRP and Ethereum. Okay, so we got to take a peek at Link for sure because Link has been in the news here lately. I know Crypto Teacher brought up Link in one of his videos last week. And because it was mentioned, I forget in one of the titles of his videos. So yeah, if you haven't checked out Crypto Teacher's video on Link, go look in Crypto Teacher's, and he brought up some news about Link that happened this past week. Okay, all right. So what's Ethereum doing now? I'll be honest with you guys. My gut, I'm having a hard time with small time frame on Ethereum. Ethereum is a bit of a conundrum to me. Okay, so what's happening? By the way, let me just say this. Here's something we do know. Whenever an asset makes a high and it makes a low, and it keeps revisiting both the high and the low, it's creating an area of a range, right? What do we know is happening in that area? Okay, now you got to understand, with as far as traders and investors, there are people that look at this chart and say, "Oh, that looks bullish," right? And they're looking for this to break out to the upside. And there are people that look at this chart and they say, "Oh, that looks bearish," right? And they're looking for it to break out. And a lot of times, the market makers will play in that range. They will give you a look to the upside and then take it the other way, and they play in this range. And people are taking trades. What you need to make sure you do, no matter what, when those ranges are established on the early stage of it, okay, is you need to make sure you're only taking trades at the tops or the bottoms of the range, but you want to stay out of the middle. In other words, if price moves back up to the top of the range, that's an area to think about taking a short, right? And if it moves back to the bottom of the range, that's an area to think about taking a long. That doesn't mean that long is going to always play out or that short will always play out. It just means that's the area of best to take the trade. Why? Because if you're going to take a short, you want to be as close to the invalidation of that short as possible. Well, where's the invalidation? Well, if it breaks up and out of that range, you're like, well, you don't feel good about your short anymore, do you? And so you want to be able to cut that trade with the smallest amount of loss as possible. If you get short and you're in the middle of this range and you're looking for it to come down here, but it comes down, it bounces off and comes up, all of a sudden you don't know whether to hold that short for another move to the downside or let it go right where it is because it hasn't broken out. But once it breaks out, but you've lost all that much more money. So the closer you can take your shorts to the top of the range, the better you'll be as far as your loss if you're wrong. Because this market isn't about being right. It's about keeping your losses small. Okay, so if you're going long, you want to make sure you're taking your longs as close to the bottom as possible, so that if you're wrong and it takes the low out, and you're not feeling good about your long, you can get out of the trade on that break to the downside, and you can get out of your trade with a smaller loss than if you took your long to the upside, somewhere in the middle, or even getting stuck at the top because you FOMO'd in like a stupido. A stupido, right? So anyway, just want to encourage you guys that when you see a range like this established, make sure that you take the right trade at the right time. So right now we're at the bottom of the range. Long is definitely the way where you would want to be looking. as far as taking a trade, but realizing this thing could break to the downside, pull back, and continue down at some point. And so understanding that's price action we could see, right? But again, this range is really, really important. So I don't have a problem with price coming back up, looking like it's going to go. Now, what we normally see, whichever way it wants to go, they usually break, take out the shorts. So anybody that's got their stop as a short up here, they'll come and take you out before they come down and take out. So usually there's a double move. The first move takes out one trader, and then the second move takes out the other trader. Okay, and they hit both sides of the range in the price action. So I think it's reasonable to look for price action to do one of those two things. It could hit the bottom of the price first with a move to the upside second. So it could hit the top first and go down, or it could hit the bottom first and go up. But I think it's reasonable to look for that kind of a move, especially when you see a range like this developed. Okay, if you want to see that in action where it's actually played out, okay, you can see it on a smaller time frame right in here. Okay, you can see how a range was established right here. Okay, they hit the bottom first, hit the top second. It was a triple move, and then they came down. Okay, but eventually, and it was a quadruple move because they eventually came back up. But that was a smaller time frame range that they took out here, boom. So that's what they like to do. They create those ranges, hit both sides of it, and then go one direction or the other. So as a trader, you can capitalize on that kind of price action. Usually, when one side is hit, you have the opposite trade you can take. You can, when that's finished and it gets a rebound, you can start trading the opposite direction and then take your profit once it hits the opposite side. Now, that's often a very, very good trade to take. It's a trade that I'll often take. Okay, on the higher time frame. So, just to give you for what it's worth, department, it doesn't have to do that. Again, trading isn't about knowing what the price is going to do. It's about taking a risk that's calculated with your losses as small as possible. Okay, that's what trading is all about. All right, so that's some ideas for you for Ethereum, just looking at the chart without applying Elliott wave. Now, what do you make of this wave structure? What's going on here? How do we interpret this? Well, it looks like we've got some kind of a leading wave here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like we got a leading wave. Okay, that looks about finished. All right. So if that's the case, if that's the wave, now again, I'm not doing higher time frame analysis here. I'm just kind of looking. Okay, so what's happening? What's happening here? What's going on? Well, let's count the wave structures and see what we got. What do we got? Well, one way to interpret this wave is that this was A, that was B, and that was C. I don't know that I love that, but maybe. What if this was A, and this was B right there, and that's a flat B, and this was C? I like that better. I do like that better, but that would be a truncated C, and that would be kind of nasty. Okay, but that could be A, B, C, right? So what do we got here? What's here then? What's going on here? Well, this could be A. And what's happening here? That could be a really truncated B. We get a C. Okay, now, so if that's the case, if we get a dump here, take this low out, we would expect a move like that. Do you see it now? You got A, this becomes B, and that becomes C. And so the wave count would be a leading diagonal followed by a complex wave. It's a flat, basically. So there's an idea for you. So if we get a dump tonight, if it dumps and this low gets taken, I would love it. One could be on a diag. One could be bigger than 3. It's just 3 can't be the shortest. Camel. That's the rule. 3 can never be the shortest. That's the only wave 3 rule there is. Especially when you have a converging leading diag like this. It's not perfect here, for sure, but certainly could be a diag. Okay. All right. And that's just an idea for counting this. So that's kind of nasty. There's your B wave. And so basically you got A, B, C, but that doesn't look that's just too small to be the only correction. Could that be? Could that be your ABC correction of that whole move? Sometimes when you get diags and you get small corrections, that does happen. But I like the idea that this comes down, takes the low, boom, takes all that liquidity and then shoots back up, takes all that liquidity, gives us that correction of this move, and then down we go. So there's an idea for you. What else could be going on here? What else could be happening here? Oh man, this is just nasty. This wave is nasty. Could this be some kind of an ending diag here for a wave 5? In other words, this is 5 waves to here, so this is wave 4. So this move, so the 1, 2 is hidden up here somewhere in the price action. 3, 4, 5. That's 5 waves, okay? And this now is the beginning of some other correction. Maybe. That might be exactly what we're looking at. You'll notice the volume that came in on that dump. Lots of volume compared to this right here. So that's an interesting volume profile for me. So really, really tough wave structure here. But I imagine, again, my concepts of this side of the range getting taken and this side of the range getting taken are very likely. So if you're looking for a short, I think on the higher time frame, you need to just be patient and let price come back up here. And then as long as you have a 3-wave shape, go ahead and take your short once it gets up there and looks like it's finishing. Okay? Okay. So that's Ethereum. I here's what my takeaway from my analysis on Ethereum. Ethereum looks like it's finished an initial wave and it's building a 3-wave shape to the upside, but I see the real strong possibility of the low getting taken before the higher high. It doesn't mean it has to, because it could totally come up here, then down there, then up there. That kind of crap can happen as well. So we know that can take place. But my point is that I think both sides of this is going to get taken, and eventually it's going to give us a move to the upside. That's the same kind of thing I'm expecting with Bitcoin. So the analysis of the Ethereum chart is the same as what we're looking at on the Bitcoin chart. That either this is the beginning. That's the first move and it's finished, okay? And this is the beginning. There's your A wave. This could be in, this is A. We're in the B wave. We could get a C after that. That B wave can come and take this low out first and then go up. You see the same thing. The same move might be happening in Ethereum as well. So that's a possibility. That same kind of idea there. So the charts are rhyming. Okay, and so for me, what I'm seeing is consolidation in this area with this liquidity grabbed before more down. Okay, and if it's going to go up higher, I imagine we need to come down and grab some liquidity down here, and maybe even down here before we go up higher. Again, I think that we've been pushing up. We've had 4 highs on Bitcoin. I think some of these lows need to get taken first before we're going to shoot rocket to the moon. Okay, so that's why I think 70 to 50K. But I'm again looking at that 50K range. Okay. All right, let's look at XRP and say, okay, what do we see here? What's going on? We're going to start in the 4-hour chart. Okay, what are we seeing here? This is a challenging chart. There's no doubt about it. It's when you look at this wave structure, you see so much up and down, up and down, up and down. So that's one thing that we know about the XRP chart is that it likes to grab liquidity. It likes to move deep moves and then retrace deeply. And you'll see that pattern right here where it went way down here, took out that low, and then it came all the way back up in the middle of the range, and then and then you got this 3-wave shape that so much liquidity in that area, but you'll notice that the range it was playing in, right? So, and then it played in that range longer, hit that range, boom, and now it's hit the high of the range, right? And now we've come back into the middle of the range. Now the question is this going to break up and out, or is this going to break down and we come collect the liquidity down here? That's the question mark, and I don't have the answer. But I could totally, if Bitcoin and Ethereum both do that downward move that I see as a possibility. Now, I'm not saying it's definitely, but if we come down here and maybe even get a deeper move, taking this low out, right? That's possible. And then we get a move like that. We could totally see a move kind of like that on XRP as well, where you see a move down here, okay? All right, and then it likes to come up afterwards. Then all of a sudden you've got this 3-wave shape. You got a leading diag 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with some kind of flat B wave ready for another move down. Again, this move to the downside followed by that move to the upside. Again, it rhymes with what we're looking for with Bitcoin and Ethereum. So that's another possibility. I don't know if that's going to play or not, but we do know that that's common wave structure that we like to see, or that we often see on XRP. Now, whether that happens or not, it's another story. Because, I could totally see this coming down here, taking that little low, and then this coming right back up, and this becoming a bigger 3-wave something before that low gets taken. So in other words, the little down move that I'm kind of seeing on the chart, and I am kind of seeing that little down move, and I'm kind of biased to it. Doesn't mean it has to happen, but a move down to take that out right there on the 4-hour chart, followed by that move, I can totally see it. Boom, boom, boom. Totally grab that and understand the liquidity grab that would be. Where you got boom, boom, boom. Okay, can you see it? So this becomes boom, 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 5 waves. Take that low, and then shoot up, take that high. Shoot, we could even take that low first and then take that high. Then all of a sudden, you have the same flat that you have on Bitcoin and Ethereum that I'm kind of pointing to as a possibility. Now, whether that plays or not, it's another story. I don't know. Because the bullish look is that this was some kind of breakout, this replayed, and now this is just kind of, nope, let me draw that. The bullish look says, hey, this is a breakout, boom. We've retested in 3 ways, and now we're just kind of 1-2ing up, and we're getting ready to break up to the upside, and we're getting ready to go, which that could be a possibility as well, in which case you got some kind of leading wave here, a 3-wave pullback, a 1-2, 1-2, and then we're rocking to the upside. That's the bullish look. That's the bullish move. So this is challenging for sure, but I'd love to see that move first. Doesn't have to happen. You could get this move. Boom, and then up. That's a possibility. Either way, this kind of looks like it wants to do that. But small time frame. Let's look at the very small time frame because I trade XRP. This very much looks like a 1-2-1-2. In other words, the bullish look here is that this is one, that's two, that's one, that's two, and we're getting ready to move up, up, up. Okay, that's a very beautiful three-wave shape. Okay, came back, retested the breakout, right? That's a 1-2, 1-2 to the upside. We're getting ready to break up and out of here tonight. That's the bullish look. Now let's look bullishly at because I try to make myself look bullishly at the chart. So I have been calling for a pump, and I wonder if that pump is ever going to come. It may not. It may come. It may not come. But I've been calling for the possibility of an XRP pump. That this could be three waves and it's finished. It's done. And this is actually a 1-2, and this is getting ready to start pumping up and out of here. Okay, so that is the a bullish scenario that you have to at least respect as a possibility. Okay, so that could be some kind of an ending diag as well, where you got 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5, some kind of ending diag, or that this is a 1, 2, 1, 2 on the major, and we're going to get like a really huge pump up to $8 or something like that, or $11 even. You know, really, really high, if this thing doesn't break to the downside. So that's the bullish look, and I try to make myself look at the opposite way just because sometimes I get to looking at the chart one way, and sometimes it just locks me into that perspective. But I totally can see the wave structure taking us either way at this point. We are at a crossroads, as the title of the video implied or said tonight. Right? Because what's the bullish count here on Bitcoin? Well, I think you do have to respect this notion that there's an ABC here, and that this is the beginning stages of something more to the upside. Okay, and this is actually just bullish, and it's getting ready to pump and pump hard and fast. Okay, so if we get some kind of hard and fast pump to the upside, then my bearish outlook on this wave is all wrong. My count is wrong, and we're going to gravitate more to that count, that this was a wave 1 and that's a wave 2, especially if this gets up and goes and starts getting up and starts pushing up higher to the 200K mark. We're going to start looking at this wave much more like a wave 3, and in that case we're going to see $500,000 Bitcoin. Okay, but we're at that crossroads where anything is possible. We do have on the 2-day chart here some hidden bullish divergence that is worth noting here. So that's a bullish outlook. We do have a reset of the RSI on the daily that this could break up and out of here if it wants to. So yeah, we're at a stage where the Bitcoin could break up or it could break down. So we could be pumping, okay, up hard, or doing the correction, the fake outs that I was sharing before, where we actually kind of go down, hit this low, go up and pump hard and fast. That creates a flat, gets everybody bullish again, and then pulls the rug out. So those are the ideas that I have, guys, and that's kind of the way I'm looking at the charts. Ready for anything that comes. So with that said, I've finished Ethereum and XRP. Let's look at Link now and CRV. And then we'll look at the traditional markets and maybe some of the charts that you guys wanted me to look at. Okay. When does the XRP? I'm just reading the comments. When does when does what was I going to ask? When does the ETF come out for XRP? Does anybody know the date? Well, I'm putting the pulling up the link chart. I'd get more views, Camel, if I started doing videos again. Regular videos, regular daily videos. I just stopped doing them. Oh, $10,000 XRP? I don't think so. I don't know, though. Oh, really? 15th to the 17th of September. So, yeah, if the ETF is coming out, if the ETF is coming out, then we ought to see a pump into the ETF and a dump on the day of the ETF open, usually. Oh, October. Okay. All right. Oh, okay. Gotcha. So we should see a pump into the ETF. Okay. Let's look at Link. See what we can figure out. Let's start on the daily and work our way down. All right. What do you do with Link? This is the 3-day. What is this wave structure? Well, first off, I mean, it resembles this kind of wave structure right here. Very choppy, very, very big retraces. Boom, big retrace, right? So if that's the case, and then it boom came all the way back and then shot up. So if it does something similar to that, then you've got this big move, came back, big move, came back, and now it's gone up. All right, we could be, come on, could be in this stage right here if this wants to break up and out. Okay, and that would be a similar wave to that, similar. If what we have here is a 3-wave shape, then what we could be getting subsequently is also 3 waves back down, followed by more upside later. This also could be 5 waves, in which case you got some kind of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 leading diag of some kind. And this is A, B looking for C, as long as this low gets respected. Or this is a much larger macro correction, looking for 1, 2, 3, 4, and looking for 5 to finish. Okay, and that's the beginning wave. You get some kind of 3-wave, and then more upside. So that's kind of macro ideas. Yeah, this is really challenging wave. It's just like Ethereum, very, very, very difficult to understand, to interpret. Right. So let's do a little. Let's zoom in a little bit on Link and see if we can see what we see. Start on the daily, and then we'll move in. So what's going on here? Okay, what's happening? Well, to me, this looks 3, 3, 5 to me. That looks like 3. Looks like a flat. Okay, then what? Well, that's 3 for sure. Is that a connector? If that is a connector, then what do we got? Boom, boom. We might need one more pump. And all of a sudden that becomes a W. There's your connector, X, and this is Y. And that's 3 waves. Then that sets us up after that pump for another 3-wave move to bring us down. Okay. Now, one more idea, and that is often we see in crypto, when you get the pumps like this, they just go up in 3, and that gives it time to work its way down again. So we're actually just working our way down. This low is going to get taken, and all of a sudden what you got is a W. That's X, and this is Y. But that's the final move before Link goes to the moon. So I don't know which. I don't know which one you got. So let's do some small time frame analysis. What do you make? Well, this looks like some kind of leading wave. How do you count it? One, 2, 3, 4. Doesn't look like 5 is finished. You could get a throw over with 5 down. Three waves back up. That's a leading wave. It's pointing to more down. What if this is just 3 waves? This could be ready to pump up and out of here, right here. Oh. Just like this. 3 waves, back up. What if this pumps up and out of here? Could. But I think that's why this is designed to kind of resemble. So we had a nice ender here. We had a nice ending wave here. That's the thing. I got a nice wave 4 and then a wave 5. Got a nice ender. That's a good ending wave. Lots of divergence. Everything we look for. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks great. I'm more inclined to a leading wave. But there's no doubt that Link is a challenging chart here. Let's look at the 1 hour. That's really hard. I don't know. It's a big I don't know burger to me. It's truly unsatisfying, but sometimes that's all there is to eat, guys. Is a Jim of all trades I don't know burger. See this wave structure in here? That's what that looks like to me. See that right there? That looks very similar. It's pointing down. Now, it doesn't mean it won't come back up. It just means that the next move is short-term small up and then followed by down. Or just could dump. What do you think, Keith? What are your thoughts, buddy? Okay, just checking the chat there. I'm not sure which one, when you say the second is more plausible, I'm not sure which one you're talking about, Camel. Okay, let's take a peek at CRV quick. Is there anything in this chart? Yeah, I think all the charts are pointing to playing around here. High get taken, low get taken, low get taken, high get taken. I don't know what order it's going to happen. A horse meat burger. Oh, that's funny. Oh. Don't you want to say something like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? Maybe. Trump coin. You looked at Trump coin in a while? See, this will pump again eventually. Looks like you got a nice 1-2 on your hands. Getting ready to go. Well, VET, what do we got for VET here? That low hold, it did. See, that low held right there. Right there. But this went up in 3. Doesn't matter. Yeah, this is really hard price structure to give you guys any really good good vibes here, because I really don't have a sense for this wave structure and what that is. You do see that it's starting to round up. It could roll over, but it looks like it's wanting to round up. So it's a little bit of a bullish vibe. You gotta see it. So this is a decently bullish vibe to it, at least for short term or longer term. I wouldn't mind, however, some kind of little move here and then a move down to finish some kind of 3-wave something. And that's VET. Let's look at ZIL. Yeah, this wave structure is so hard, guys. It doesn't give me the bullish vibes. But at some point, it's going to pump up and out, or it's going to die. So is this dying, or is it getting ready to pump up and out? It all depends on what you believe crypto's ready to do. SOL? Let's look at SOL. SOL is a tough one as well. This looks very bullish. So SOL looks primo bullish. Now, when I say very bullish, I don't mean like up forever, but it just looks like it's more definitive as far as the direction of the wave is concerned. It seems like SOL needs to go, this wave needs to go up. This looks like it needs more upside. So I look at that and I'm like, oh, that looks very much like it needs to go up and finish something. And then come down, and then maybe up or come down deeper. Right? Three wave. But this wave seems very probable. So looking at SOL on the 3-day chart, that's a 3-day. It's got a bullish bias. Now that is a 3-day chart. Zooming in 4-hour, does it have to go up from here? It looks very probable that it could go up from here. I mean, you can kind of see that this is forming support, and for this to zoom up, but this could break down and then go, and that would correlate with what we're seeing in Bitcoin and all the other charts. But or it could just pump up here. You can kind of see the RSI creating this. This is setting up for a big move here. SOL looks like it's ready for a big move. Take a peek at XRP and what she's doing in a small time frame here. I can see that both ways. What does that look like to you guys right there? Does that not look like a flat? Or is that a flat? And this is just getting ready to go. See, I look at this and I'm like, I got 3 up, I got 3 down, I got 5 up. That looks like a flat to me. And this looks like a flat. So this seems to be pointing down, at least to there. That's a very small time frame. All right, I'm getting pretty tired here, guys. Let me check in with you guys. Yeah, ETH BTC. Nick, I'm very, very bullish on ETH BTC. Just a quick look at ETH BTC. I'll show you. I've been looking at this chart with you guys for a while, calling for a big move. So you can see that this was a 3-wave shape. Now, if it's got to be 5, if that's 3, we're going to get one more move down and then up, or this is going. But I've been pretty bullish for that move. Question is, this has a 3-wave shape to it. So what does that mean? Do we get one more low? Maybe. That would be okay. But then we'd expect it to fly against BTC. Eventually it's going to start gaining ground and it's going to be hard to come back from. So down then up, or pull back and then up, one of the two. But I'm very bullish on Ethereum, whether it's now or a little bit later, but I'm very bullish long term. You're right about ZIL not being a triangle, Camel. It's not a triangle. All right, my voice is about shot. Let's just take a peek at silver, because it looks gorgeous. It's at $41, and it's going to keep rocking, guys. It's just going to keep going. I'm very bullish on silver. It's just going to go, in my opinion. I don't believe this is 3 waves and finished. I don't think this is 3 waves and it's coming down here. I just... though, you know, could we see a pullback here? I mean, you totally could, but long term, I'm very bullish on silver. Gold, we keep making higher highs. See, I think silver chart is going to look just like the gold chart. So, if you see that 3 waves right there, and then it pulled back, and then it just went. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for it to look like that. We're looking for it to start picking up speed. So the silver chart's going to be the same. So gold, you had 3. You pulled back, yes. So could it be that you get You did have that 3 wave, and then you pull back. I'm just looking for this to get moving. There's lots of room here for this to go more parabolic. $60 could be easily gotten on silver. Let's look at NASDAQ and S&P. Here's the NASDAQ. One, two. This looks like a wave 3. I think we need some kind of wave 4 before we get a 5. I think we're due for something here. Pretty hard pullback. Now that's a 2-week chart. You've got the classic wave 4, 5 look. Wave 4, 5 look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's so close to being done if it's not done. Ready to start coming down hard. But not like to 0, but it's going to come down pretty hard. Let's look at S&P. Same thing. You got the same kind of look. 1, 2. This is like a 3. We need a 4 before a 5. So this is the kind of move we're looking for. We're so close. Looking at this looks like it needs to dump, pump, dump. And that'll finish it. Are we going to hit 7K? 7,000? See if we do. How about Tesla? Tesla is undecided. But I'm bearish on Tesla, but this is starting to get too big. See, I see this as 3. 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. So that's ABC. Or that's WXY actually. So yeah. So I was looking for 5 waves. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't like this for 5. It's too big. I would have liked it just came straight down. It's taking too long. Could that be a running flat and it's finished? Is that a running flat? Is that done? In which case you got a 1 and a 2. We're going to get 3, 4, 5. This is going, it's going to pull back and then go. Could be a running flat. Three, 3, 5, right there. Done. I was really looking for another low. That would have been nice. That would have been finished. And then, so there's another possibility for Tesla. Tesla might be done. I was looking for another. I was looking for $90 to $100, guys. I really was. So this wave structure is challenging. Natural gas. One, two. Yeah, this could be going up here. Coming down for another low. Eventually, natural gas is going to get up here, back up to $8 or higher. $9, $10. Eventually, we're coming up here. But do we hit this low first and then up? It's a good question. I don't know. Well, guys, I'm pretty exhausted. It's been about 2 hours. I'm talking. My voice is about shot. I think I've done what I can do. Well, guys, that's my view on the market. Wave structure is at an area where small time frame is challenging, but I've given you some macro ideas that I hope have been helpful. Let me know if you enjoyed the show tonight. Thanks for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it. Did your football teams win? My Commanders won today, so I know somebody mentioned it at the front end, so I think Keith did, so that's awesome. Hope your team won tonight, but don't forget that market's rigged too. So be careful betting on games. All right, guys. I hope y'all have a fantastic evening. Thanks for joining me on the channel. Let me just make sure I got all the comments. Just rebooting. Hey, Daniel. What's up, buddy? All right, guys. Well, you caught me at the end, Daniel. So y'all have a great night. Thanks for stopping by, and we'll see you later.